Bob Peterson is executive chef at Hacienda del Sol in Tucson. He began his career at 15, working in a steakhouse, then worked for Donna Norton at Cafe Terracotta in Tucson. After attending the Western Culinary Institute, he cooked in Colorado before coming back. Here's his sweet potato gnocchi.
Making the roasted tomato basil cream, we're heating up our saucepan. We're going to have a little bit of garlic, a little bit of shallots, both chopped, fresh basil, roasted tomatoes, which are Roma tomatoes that have been quartered, tossed with a little bit of olive oil, sugar, and kosher salt, and then roasted for about 2.5 hours at 250 degrees until they're nice and brown and caramelized and sugars have had a chance to come out and very flavorful. We also have a little bit of veg stock, a little bit of cream as well to finish off this, a little salt and pepper as well.
Clarified butter.
To saute the shallots and garlic. This is all a preference as far as how much garlic you like. I like a little more shallots than garlic. Now we don't want to allow this to burn. Slide that out of the way just a touch. But just to saute and just to brown just a touch. We're going to let that saute and then we're going to deglaze the pan with a little bit of the vegetable stock and we'll allow that to reduce by half. And then we're going to go ahead and add in the tomatoes and then the cream. And then allow that to reduce by about 1/3. Then we're going to puree this, strain it, and add the basil. If you're wanting to make a sauce that's going to take a while to cook, then you want to go ahead and use a dry basil, as that allows the basil to come out a little bit over time, whereas fresh basil, the flavors will come out very quickly and then they will disappear. So you lose some of it. A lot of people think that fresh basil is always the way to go, but if you're going to do that, then it's always best to finish off with the fresh basil as opposed to cooking a long amount of time. Go ahead and add in the tomatoes. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to puree all this afterwards, so the size doesn't matter right now. You can do a rough chop if need be. I'm going to go ahead and heat up the cream on the side to allow a little bit quicker time. Wow. It was already hot. Being in the salamander helps. Okay, I'll go ahead and add that in as well.
The mixture is reduced.
Cream looks pretty close here. I'm going to go ahead and puree. Now, the scary thing that happens with the blender a lot of times is that you want to just turn it on real fast, and if you got something really hot, you're going to go ahead and blow it all over yourself and possibly burn yourself, but definitely stain your clothes for sure. So, go ahead and add this in. The rest of the tomatoes here. We may need to reduce this down just a little bit more, but we'll go ahead and do that on the stove as need be. Always have the lid on, and if you have an extra towel, it doesn't hurt to have it. And what term I use is jogging the blender, which is a quick on and off motion until you get it rolling smooth so you don't take that chance of blowing. And you've got, as you can see, everything gets under pressure with this heat and you've got steam coming out, and you add a little motion to that steam and it can go all over you. So sauce is nice and thick, and as we strain it out, we're going to get all the impurities we don't want, extra little chunks of garlic or tomatoes that just did not come out very well. Get that out there. I think that'll work just fine. Once again, we're going to use strain method here. Add the fresh basil into there as well. Stir it up, nice red creamy color. Almost kind of looks like tomato soup Mom used to make. Nice thick consistency, holds its shape well, and you can always adjust this for thickness as needed. We're going to go ahead and make the sweet potato gnocchi dough now. What I have done is taken sweet potatoes. You need to use sweet potatoes and not yams. Yams have too much water in them and the consistency will just not hold up. I've roasted these for about half an hour to 45 minutes, about 375, 400 degrees, depending on your oven. If you have a convection oven, it'll go a lot faster, a little bit better. If you have a conventional oven, go a little bit higher heat. It'll help. What we're doing here is caramelizing the sugars in the sweet potato. Along with this is 2 egg yolks and 2 whole eggs, 3 tablespoons of butter, and approximately 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. This is approximately 2 pounds of sweet potatoes.
The ingredients are mixed with a paddle attachment. The finished dough is chilled before use.
Touch more flour, work it just a touch, don't need too much, just to get it to where it's at a working stage. I'll go ahead and cut off a small segment. Grab me a box grater. We're going to roll this out into logs. Thank you. Typical gnocchi, you'll see, has a rounded edge on it. You can get that by rolling it down the back side of a grater. Depending on the size you want, you can change it up a little bit and get some funky shapes in there. I'm going to go ahead and blanch these off now. Nice salted boiling water. Basically, when these come to the surface and float, and I'll let them float and cook for about an extra 2 to 3 minutes just to make sure that all of the flour has cooked out of it. You don't want it to be too doughy.
The finished gnocchi go into a pan with sweet peas, chopped leeks, and small tomatoes.
Nice color coming out. Let them sear up a little bit more. Go ahead and add the tomatoes in. Touch of kosher salt.
Presentation begins with the tomato cream sauce.
Arrange these.
Fried leeks and blue cheese finish.
And crumbled Maytag. Basil in there. Go ahead and give a nice sprig to finish off the plate.